Rohini Sutta Prabhu spoke? Raise your hand. Everyone is very shy. Yes. The internal and external mood of the appearance of Krishna. Thank you. Who else will say something? Yes, Prabhu. He appeared just to please the devotees. Thank you. One more. Through serving Krishna, Krishna manifests in the heart by remembering him and serving him. Also a wonderful point. No, wait, we want to hear. Say it out loud. No. What's the other part? So that is real service. By the loving affection that the service is that is offered with, that is what causes Krishna to appear within the heart. We saw that in the pastime of Narada Muni, how Narada Muni became the famous great distributor of bhakti, the carrier of bhakti shakti, because he meditated in the forest. And then suddenly, Krishna, who was in his heart actually, appeared before him. And then Narada Muni went mad in ecstasy because he had seen Krishna directly. But then Krishna disappeared. And Narada Muni tried all the same tricks, not tricks, but the process that he had used before that had apparently caused Krishna to appear within his heart, but nothing was successful. And then he heard an Akashvani. What does Akashvani mean? What? A voice in the sky, or a voice that was manifest, an instruction just coming out of the air, practically speaking. And the Lord spoke to him and said, Ivapakwa kashayanam dudarshanam kuyogina. You are not ready, pure enough to see me, but by my mercy, hantasmin janmane bhava. You won't be able to see me another time in this life. You are not yet paka. You are not mature in devotion. And Narada Muni, from that point on, although he had tried to see the Lord by his own power, he understood that he couldn't, because there was some lack, some attachment, the affection, as Prabhu Rohini Sutta said, the affection was not complete enough to attract the Lord to come and live always in his heart and be with him always. And what do you think Narada Muni did when he heard this? Do you think he gave up? What do you think? Do you think he gave up? No. Do you think he said, I should join another movement? Do you think he said that? No. But what did Narada Muni do? Does anyone know? Raise your hand if you know. He just chanted and chanted and chanted and glorified Krishna continuously. He was feeling so much separation from Krishna because he had actually had Sakshat Darshan. He had seen Krishna. And he was in Krishna's association constantly by hearing and chanting about him after that. And he didn't care where he was, what other people thought of him. This is, we shouldn't imitate this, of course, unless we are actually on that platform. But he was so enraptured, enchanted, in love with Krishna, so attracted to Krishna, he kept himself constantly purifying his heart, wanting to be with Krishna, missing Krishna, wanting to develop more and more attraction for Krishna. And then he wandered through the rest of his life in this way, just chanting and hearing. He went through good places and bad places, and difficult times and happy times, and peaceful places and chaotic places. But what remained constant for him was his chanting Krishna's names and glorifying Krishna. And then at one point, it was time for him to leave this world, and his material body dropped to the ground. In other words, in common language, he died. But he didn't actually die, because he had become mature in his devotion due to his cultivation, Krishnanushilanam, due to his complete sincerity, due to his not wanting anything else and not settling for anything else. He just kept himself always with Krishna, and then he became mature. And then, the moment his body died, that exact moment, what's the example given in the Bhagavatam? Raise your hand, raise your hand. Like lightning. When the lightning comes, immediately it appears. Simultaneously, exactly the same moment. So his death was not actually a death at all. It was the birth of his spiritual body. But it wasn't the birth of his spiritual body exactly, but his spiritual body, which is eternal, Nitya Siddha Krishna Premi Sadhya Kavanoi. It manifests, and he became who he was eternally in relationship with Krishna. So our process, as Srila Jiva Goswami describes in Sri Bhakti Sandarbha, that the process of sadhana bhakti is the process of turning. Right now our back is turned to Krishna, and we are involved in the activities of ahankara, false ego, with myself as the center. And the process of sadhana bhakti is the process of turning to Krishna. From Bahyamukh to Samukh, the process of turning to Krishna. And that process, as Rohini Sutta Prabhu just made sure that we understood, is one of developing our affectionate relationship with Him. Not just service, not just work, but devotional service, bhakti, bhakti yoga, seva. So how to put devotion into our service, into our life is our process. And it so much has to do with hearing and chanting about Krishna. It's Panchanga Bhakti, and in the association of devotees to hear and chant about Krishna. So this day of Janmashtami, as we know, is Bhakti, Madhavatiti, Bhakati Janani. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks especially about Ekadasi. But Janmashtami is included in that. These are the days that give birth to Bhakti. These are the days where we face the deities and we pray. These are the days we hear about the residents of Vrindavan and the other kind-hearted devotees. And we pray to get some service and some small inclination of the mood in which they serve in. And then If we get that, then we are very, very fortunate. Janma koti sukhita amna labhyate. This is very fortunate. This defines good fortune, practically speaking. In any case, what I would like to speak about, is the name-giving ceremony of Krishna. Now, does anyone know what chapter of the 10th canto that is described in? The name-giving ceremony of Krishna? Without taking out your mobile phone? Does anyone know? It is called, the chapter is called The Vision of the Universal Form. But that vision of the universal form is right at the end of the chapter. But it begins, this is the 8th chapter of the 10th canto. Who knows what the 7th chapter is? It's about, Trinavarta is killed by Krishna, which is such an amazing pastime. Of course, all of Krishna's pastimes are amazing. And the question when one begins to speak about Krishna is, there are two main questions: where to begin, and then, of course, where to end, because there's no end and there is no beginning, practically speaking. But I'll just say a few words about the Trinavarta pastime, just because it's so sweet. How Mother Yashoda was holding Krishna, her Lala. She was just holding him. She would never let him go, practically speaking. Now we hear about the actual love of the residents of Vrindavan. And from them, we get a glimpse of what it means to actually be filled with devotion, what it actually means to be filled with bhakti. We get a glimpse, because my cup is not this big. My capacity to understand what bhakti is, it is really about like this, because I'm so trapped in this material mind, so covered by lust and anger and greed and so many other manifestations of false ego. But when we hear about the residents of Vrindavan, especially, we hear about all the great devotees, but especially the residents of Vrindavan, because all the great devotees, they look to the residents of Vrindavan with the with the utmost reverence. Like Brahma, when he saw the exchanges between Krishna and the residents of Vrindavan, he was amazed. When Uddhav saw the exchanges between Krishna and the residents of Vrindavan, he was amazed. Both of them prayed to be blades of grass and gumalata, some type of a creeper. Or even Lord Brahma prayed, if I could be like a piece of cloth on the outside of Vrindavan, so when the people who associate with the residents of Vrindavan leave, they will step on me, and I will get the dust, the blessings of the residents of Vrindavan in that indirect way. Brahma was praying in that way. So when we hear of the love between the residents of Vrindavan, they are Ashraya Tattva. They are the reservoir, the shelter of love for Krishna, the ocean of Krishna. And Krishna himself is the Vishya, or the object of their love. So to get something from love of Krishna, we don't go to the object of love, but we go to the shelter of love, to the Ashraya. So therefore the devotees are so important in this process. So Mother Yashoda, when she was holding Krishna, and how can we even get a glimpse of the love of Mother Yashoda for Krishna? It was complete. It was completely natural. It was completely spontaneous. In fact, this was who Mother Yashoda was. She was, we can say in English, the emblem of motherly love, Shuddha Vatsalya Prem. But this is who she was. She was love for Krishna in the Vatsalya motherly mood. Unlimited love for Krishna. And Krishna is continuously making that ocean, that ashraya of love, he is making it erupt into waves of ecstasy, and therefore he is Bhakta Vatsalya. And this is the understanding of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. That Krishna is interacting with his devotees in such a way that their ecstasy is continuously moving in different, like an ocean has different waves, so their ecstasy is moving in different waves, in different formations. And Krishna is the enjoyer of that, but he's also the enjoyer, he's the object of that, and he is the Leela Purushottama. He is the supreme enjoyer, but yet, when confronted with the love of the Brijbasis, he becomes overwhelmed and becomes overwhelmed. So Mother Yashoda is carrying Krishna, and suddenly Krishna, he's only in the mood of a baby, but suddenly his Aishwarya Shakti informs him that there's some danger coming. So he assumes by the potency of Yogamaya, because he's just in the mood. Mother Yashoda's love for him has controlled him so much, he's just holding on to her and she's holding on to him. But yet there is some danger coming, and that danger is an asura sent by Kamsa to kill Krishna. And he's in the shape of a whirlwind, like a tornado in English, some kind of a whirlwind, but so powerful. And he's coming into Braja. And in his attempt to kill Krishna, Krishna is thinking about Mother Yashoda. Now, no one can kill Mother Yashoda, no one can kill Krishna, but this is just the nature of the exchanges of prema. And all the exchanges that are driven by ahankar or false ego, they have me in the center, selfishness. Atma Indriya Priti. They all have me in this. No matter what they appear like on the outside, on the inside it's selfishness. And in Vrindavan and in devotion, it is exactly the opposite. No matter what it appears like on the outside, there is prema at the center. So Krishna was thinking of Mother Yashoda, and Mother Yashoda was thinking of Krishna. This is love. Not selfishness. But then Krishna assumed a very heavy weight. And Mother Yashoda could not carry him. So she placed him down on the soft dust of Gokul, the soft Braja dust. And then she went inside, as explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. She went inside to pray to the deity, Narayan deity, for Krishna. How has this boy become so heavy all of a sudden? Maybe there's some tantra involved or something. So she went inside to pray to the deity, Lord Narayan, to protect Krishna from this occurrence that she couldn't understand. And then as soon as she walked inside, she thought, what have I done? I left Krishna alone. So the kind of ecstasy, loving ecstasy, caused by anxiety that filled her heart is not possible for us to understand. But immediately she ran outside, and during that short time when she had gone inside by the power of Yogamaya, during that very short time, maybe moments, this Trinavarta, this whirlwind asura, come and lifted Krishna, took him high into the sky. Now, Krishna, so many things he does at once. He wanted to kill Trinavarta, but he also wanted to give his darshan to the residents of Swagaloka, and he also wanted to, because Krishna's fragrance, it fills the forest of Vrindavan. Krishna is so fragrant. In the final chapters of Antya-lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes Mahaprabhu's interaction with the fragrance of Krishna. And he goes mad when he encounters the fragrance of Krishna, because the fragrance of Krishna brings up Krishna completely. Fragrance of Krishna is Krishna. So Krishna wanted to allow the residents of the higher planets to experience his fragrance. So that's the second reason. Third reason, actually. He wanted to kill Trinavarta. What was the second reason? Give his darshan. Third reason? His fragrance. And also a fourth reason is that he wanted to enjoy. Because, of course, you may not have experienced this, but when you have little babies, Krishna at this time was very, very little, perhaps 3 months old. And when you take little children, they so much enjoy. The mothers and fathers know this. You throw them up in the air a little bit, and they enjoy. What do the children always do? What do the babies always do, unfailingly, when they get thrown in the air? What do? They laugh and they smile. So Krishna wanted to go high in the air also, because he's just a little boy, after all, just a few months old. So high into the air. And then, another thing that Krishna enjoys doing, and this is why little babies enjoy doing it too, because it's completely swabhavika, it is natural for Krishna, is that when their little babies are in a difficult situation, a little bit difficult, what do? What do? They hold on very, very tightly. I think we all do this too. Not only little ones, but we find something to hold on tightly to. And in this is a very important lesson, because if we hold on tightly in a dangerous circumstance to something that cannot actually give us shelter, we hold on to our mobile phone very tightly, we hold on to our credit cards very tightly, we pashanapi na pashyati, we hold on to our family members at the time of death. I know one devotee who told me a story about his grandmother. Not grandmother, but great-grandmother, means father's grandmother. Well, there must be a Hindi word for that. What is it? Pardadi. Is that close enough? Pardadi. So Pardadi was a very, very good devotee. And she especially, you know what she especially liked to say? What names of Krishna that she was attached to? Do you know? Of course, how could you know? It was Radhe Shyam. So she would always chant Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam. And then one day, and every day she would go to the river. This was in the Sindh province. And she would bathe in the river, come back, and then read Bhagavad Gita. And all the time chanting Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam. And then one day, when she came back and she was very elderly, she told her family members, now I want you to do something. And this devotee's father was just a young boy at that time. The father was a young boy. So she said, what I'm going to do is put a piece of cloth on the ground. And then I will lie on that cloth. And then I want all of you to surround me and chant Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam. And everyone knew, even the young children knew what was going to happen. But she was such a powerful devotee. And then the devotee that I know, his father's brother, had very attached to her. So what do you think he began to do? What do you think he began to do? Yeah, he began to cry. And she immediately said, take him away. Because why? Because she was thinking, he's crying. And what am I going to do? I'm going to be thinking, oh, this poor boy, he's going to miss me so much. And my consciousness will be on him. Sadatat bhava bharata, when I leave. And she said, take him away. Because I want my attachment to be on where there is actual asraya, on Krishna, on Radhe Shyam, on Krishna Balaram, on Gaunitai. So this is a devotee. So does anyone remember the point? I actually remember the point with this philosopher, the point in the pastime. Holding on. Holding on. What do we hold on to? So the little children, everyone holds on. Even the smallest child holds on. So Krishna held on to Trinavarta very tightly when he was high. And Trinavarta, because he had already, by the potency of Yogamaya, was so heavy, Krishna was so heavy, Trinavarta, Krishna holding on tightly to his neck, he choked him. And he fell down dead on a slab of stone. But Krishna had already killed him because he was a demon. So that is the end of the story. But it is not really the story's essence in one sense, the pastime's essence, this Leela's essence. Because Mother Yashoda realized after one moment that she had left Krishna alone, and her Shuddha Vatsalya Prema erupted into an ocean, a tsunami of ecstasy, with Krishna as the center, fearing for Krishna's welfare, because all mothers, to the day they will die, they worry about their children. This is the nature of motherly love even in this world. Of course, in Kali Yuga, perhaps the motherly sentiments aren't natural sometimes. Even killing their children, what to speak of worrying about them. So Mother Yashoda immediately ran outside to the place in the dust of Vrindavan where she had placed her Lala, placed this most beautiful, all attractive boy, her boy, Yashoda Nandana, and he was gone. He wasn't there. And Mother Yashoda, her life left her body. She just simply collapsed on the ground. No Krishna, no Krishna. She collapsed to the ground. And the ladies immediately came over and began speaking about Krishna. The same thing happened with Putana when Putana was killed. When Putana took away Krishna, Mother Yashoda fell to the ground. There was also when Srimati Radharani, when she heard that Krishna had gone in the 28th chapter of the 10th canto of the Bhagavatam, when Varunadev, the dutas of Varunadev, took away Nanda Maharaj, and then Krishna went in. Oh, what a pastime that is. That when Srimati Radharani heard that Krishna had entered the waters of the Yamuna, and what did they see? The residents of Vrindavan saw that Krishna had gone into the water, and of course we know that he went to the abode of Varunadev, but what did it look like from the outside, from the shore? It looked like he had gone into the water and she fainted. And all the gopikas, they came around and they began saying the glories of Krishna, speaking the glories of Krishna to her. And then and they actually said to her, no, Krishna is right here. Krishna is here. And then she would open her eyes, and then Krishna wasn't there, and she would faint again. But at least she was kept alive in that way. So Mother Yashoda, both with Putana and Trinavarta, was kept alive by the ladies speaking to her about her son, about Krishna. Speaking, Krishna did this, he killed Putana, he's so beautiful. No one can hurt your boy. So in this way she came alive, but remained fainted. But then finally, when they brought Krishna back to Mother Yashoda, and they took Krishna and placed him on her lap, then just by contacting the touch of Krishna and by contacting the fragrance of Krishna, she woke up from her faint. And then she saw Krishna is on my lap. Oh, Krishna, and she fainted again. This is how Srila Jiva Goswami describes this pastime. But it's already 10 o'clock and I didn't even get near beginning what I was supposed to talk about. Maybe I'll speak a little more. So, after many things happened, and the 7th chapter of I won't say any of them because then I will get caught again. Then after the 7th chapter ends, everyone knows what happens. The 8th chapter begins. And in this chapter it describes, it does not name this. It is called Mother Yashoda sees the universal form within Krishna, but it begins in a completely different way. And the different pastimes that take place in this chapter are so amazing. If you have time today, you can read it. It is so amazing what Krishna does. But if not careful, we won't begin. So it is the time now, after the killing of Trinavarta, after the killing of Shakatasura, which happens at the very beginning of the 7th chapter of the 10th canto, then Srila Sukadeva Goswami begins to describe the appearance of Sri Gargacharya in Vrindavan and how he conducts the name-giving ceremony for Krishna and who else? Balaram. So it is interesting that this was after 3 months. Krishna didn't get his names yet, and actually not so many names are given. Balaram's 3 names of Balaram are given by Gargacharya, but he says he has so many names, but he doesn't actually specify one particular name. But Garga Muni comes, and according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, or I believe, or one of our acharyas, that traditionally the name is given according to astrological texts after 100 days. So this explains why he got the name later in the past times, not right in the beginning. When did you get your name? You don't remember? Okay. You also don't remember. But what is traditionally done now, after 14 days after? But then, at least in some astrological texts, it says 100 days after. So it's not clear what they called him in between. But I'm sure it was very, very sweet. Because when a devotee calls Krishna with love, he hears that name very, very well. So Garga Muni came because Vasudeva had inspired Gargacharya to come, because Vasudeva was the priest of he was in the Yadu dynasty, and Gargacharya was the priest of the Yadu dynasty. So by the inspiration of Vasudeva, Garga Muni came. And there is a place in Vrindavan that's on the other side of the Yamuna, where this is taking place. And at that time, there's not so much said about it in the Bhagavatam, but at that time, Nanda Maharaj was with the calves. And calves are so enchanting. If I ask raise your hand if you've ever seen a calf playing. So if you didn't raise your hand then, and you were not asleep or just didn't want to waste that energy on a fast day, go and see the calves playing. It is such a sight. It is almost like they have springs on their legs. They just bounce, practically speaking. And they're so young and fresh and enchanting. So the cow barn was empty at that time. So soon as Nanda Maharaj saw Gargacharya in this very, very lonely place, out in the fields of Vrindavan where the calves were there, he first greeted him very, very sweetly, and spoke about that he knew everything because he was so powerful. He was such a great, powerful sage. And when the Yadu dynasty offended him, later on, they had to suffer so much because of that offense. And who came because of that offense? When Gargacharya, it was Kalyavana. It was Kalyavana, which is described in maybe the 51st chapter of 10th canto. So So Garga Muni came, and Nanda Maharaj was so happy to see him, because he was also a member of the Yadu dynasty, and he was hoping that this very auspicious sanskara, or name-giving ceremony, could be done by the priest of the Yadu dynasty, by Garga Muni himself. So, and then Garga Muni came. So after greeting him and speaking very sweetly to him, he requested, "You please, our two boys are here, Krishna and Balaram. Please perform the name-giving ceremonies." And Garga Muni was so pleased by the greeting that he had received. And as Rohini Sutta Prabhu was emphasized in that point in his class, is that the guest came, and you could say, "Here's some water, here's your seat, because I know according to, how are you? Because we know according to Atiti Bhagawan has to be treated with a certain amount of generosity of spirit." So we can do that externally, just going through the motions. And sometimes, I know I do that, when I'm in a bad mood and someone knocks on my door, and I don't want to see them, okay, now please sit down. And they're just thinking, I hope I can leave very quickly. But Garga Muni was greeted with such affection by Nanda Maharaj. It is the affection that melts the heart. It even melts the heart, as Prabhu Rohini Sutta Prabhu was saying, of Krishna, the Supreme Lord. Yes, he's a person, he has a heart. So his heart melted. But when Nanda Maharaj asked him to perform the name-giving ceremony, he thought this is not going to work, because Kamsa is he knows all diplomacy. So if he hears that I, the priest of the Yadu dynasty, have given the name to your son, Nanda Maharaj, then he will think that Vasudev's son, who the Durga Devi had said been born somewhere else already, he will think that this is the one, because Kamsa is very clever. So I shouldn't do this. And Nanda Maharaj, he said, then, yes, it's a very good point. But he didn't want to lose the opportunity of the presence of Gargacharya, so he said, then let us do it in secret. Let us do it secretly, and no one will know. I won't even tell the relatives. But of course, especially in a village, there are no secrets. Or anywhere, or the ISKCON village. Did you hear? Oh, really? I didn't know. So later on, the cowherd men, after Krishna puts down Govardhan Hill, Nanda Maharaj he tells them, but they already knew what Gargacharya has said, because they were always taking shelter of Krishna, which is one of the things that Garga Muni had said, Anena sarva dogani yunjanyasyas tarishyati. This boy will give you protection. So after that point, everyone somehow in Braja, even though Nanda Maharaj never told anyone, somehow everyone knew that when there's ever any trouble, any difficulty, turn to Krishna. Perhaps by Krishna's arrangement, this very important secret was made public, so we would learn this. So we would learn, so we would watch the Brijbasis and watch how when there is ever any difficulty, we watch Arjun, we watch Yudhisthira, we watch all these great devotees, whenever there is any difficulty. The cowherd boys, Krishna, that was Kunti Devi, Mahayogi, or that was Arjun. Krishna, Krishna, they call out continuously. Rama, something Vigraha. You know that verse? When the fire comes later on, the cowherd boys say, Krishna, Krishna, something. Rama, Rama. Very powerful. Please, who else? We are yours. We've taken shelter of you completely. We have no other hope unless you give us your mercy. Oh, Krishna, they call out with that mood. So perhaps all the residents of Vrindavan, they knew this point, and they exhibited this point, and they were always protected by Krishna. And when we hear these things, we learn, yes, I should also take shelter of Krishna, not take shelter of these durasraya, the false shelters. We should take shelter of Krishna. So, first, Gagamuni in the cowshed, he gave 3 names to Balaram. Raise your hand if you can say one of those names. Raise your hand if you can say, yes, Prabhu. No. No. Yes, please. I am requesting you. But you were first, so please go ahead. What was one name? Rama, because he would give pleasure to everyone. And another name, raise your hand. Second name, you were first again. You people are very slow, very enthusiastic. Tatilaloyam apimula mekalam. Bala, because he would be so strong. And the third one, because, raise your hand, yes. Shankarshan, because he would unite Karshan. The 2 dynasties would be attracted and joined with him, the 2 parts of the Yadu dynasty. And then he began speaking about Krishna. So I've taken a little bit of notes, and then there's 1 or 2 verses that perhaps we will speak about a little more. So the first thing he said, because there are 7 verses. The first one is text 13. What is the last one? Let's see if anyone is from IIT. First one is from 13. 7 verses. Last one. Very difficult question, yes? Without your mobile phone or anything, okay, some of us are going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I always get confused also on this difficult question. 19. So from 13 to 19, in the 10th canto, 8th chapter, Gagamuni, Gargacharya, he speaks about Krishna. And the first thing he says about Krishna is, this boy, this isn't the first time he's come. I'm expressing it in easier to understand language. This isn't the first time he's come. He's incarnated. But actually, the English word incarnation is not actually the right word for what Krishna does. Because incarnation literally in Latin means he comes within flesh. But Krishna never comes in a material body. And even if he did come in a material body, it would be a spiritual body. So he has come, this boy, he's looking at Krishna. This isn't the first time he comes. He has incarnated in different millenniums, in different colors, white, red, yellow, and now as the complete avatar, that is the proper word, the complete Lord, Krishna Swayam, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, he has come now in a blackish complexion, Sham. And all the other incarnations who have come through, which of the Purusha avatars? All the incarnations come through the Purusha avatars. If you studied the Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter, no, but close. That's second choice then. You get a second chance. Chiradakshaya Vishnu. The incarnations all come through Chiradakshaya Vishnu. But not Krishna. When Krishna comes, all the incarnations are within him. And we hear that he kills the asuras through the incarnations. He himself doesn't engage in that. But Gargamuni says that this one, he hints, this one in a sham complexion, all the incarnations have come with him. Srila Jiva Goswami comments, we have picked this up from Srila Prabhupada's purport to this verse, that now he has come in his original form, Bhagavan Swayam, and he will exhibit the complete manifestation of the absolute truth, Satyam Param. He will exhibit the complete qualities of the unlimited Supreme Lord that no other avatar shows. He will show Braja Krishna, Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, which are most wonderful, most inconceivable, and most mysterious. So that was the first verse that Gargamuni said. He's telling Nanda Maharaj everything, but sometimes he speaks in a little covered way. This beautiful verse. So this is the second verse. What is the number of the second verse? If the first one started at 13. This is not a very difficult question. Do you know the answer to that? Thank you, Prabhu. What is your name? Raghav. Very happy to meet you, Raghav. Prabhu. How old are you? 12. And where do you go to school? Ah, very nice to meet you. And how have you learned to speak English so nicely? Oh, you're a Bombay boy before, but now you're a Vrindavan boy. Okay. Do you know how to herd cows yet? Have you ever seen calves jumping? Yes. Would you like to herd cows one day? I think it is good fun. Raise your hand if you've ever herded cows. If you have ever herded cows, raise your hand. If you've ever milked a cow, raise your hand. Okay. Okay, more. I have never done this. Second verse, 14th. This beautiful son of yours, he previously, he was telling him something very secret here. This son of yours previously, maybe a long time ago, appeared as the son of Vasudeva. And therefore, he gave him a name here. He will be known as Vasudeva. He was hinting that he had come, but he was as the son of Vasudeva. He was hinting that he actually wasn't the son of Nanda Maharaj, but he was looking at that point from the point of view of a Yadu, a member of the Mathura place. But Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his commentaries, and Prabhupada has put it in the commentaries of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in this regard into his Bhagavatam, 10th canto 2, that actually Krishna is born in Vrindavan. And Vasudeva Krishna is born in Mathura. And then Vasudeva Krishna, when Vasudeva carries him, he enters within the Bhagavan Swayam Krishna. And there are many Shastric references that that are given in our Bhagavatam too for this, points that indicate this. One of them being when Durga Devi comes out. So who is the mother of Durga Devi? Yashoda Maya. So immediately, it's said that my brother is already born. The one who will kill you is already born. Meaning that her brother is born. So if she is born of Yashoda, her brother must also be born of Yashoda Maya. So there's so many different Shastric proofs on this point. But again, Vrindavan is very mysterious. So the second verse explains this. Where was Krishna born? I'll give you another chance. Yes, thank you. Very good. Krishna is born in Vrindavan of Mother Yashoda. Yes? This is the Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. But he's telling him from the other point of view that this boy is actually, one day he will leave Vrindavan and he will go to Mathura. And that's, if I speak for one more minute on that point, we will enter into a very long talk about Krishna's entrance into Mathura and Krishna's killing of Kamsa as Vasudeva Krishna. But he kills Kamsa. And then we will have to also speak about Akrura. But then everyone will become very sad if we speak about Akrura on this day. So, in the next verse, the 15th verse, he says, Gaurakacharya says, he has many forms and many names according to his qualities and activities. And I know them, but people in general don't know. But even Gaurakacharya does not know them all. No one knows the names and forms and qualities of Krishna. In fact, both Srila Sanatana Goswami and Srila Jiva Goswami explain that Krishna has an infinite number of names and qualities. Krishna has an infinite number of qualities, and every jiva can appreciate a special quality of Krishna. Every jiva can appreciate a special quality of Krishna that no one else can appreciate. And because there are unlimited, infinite number of jivas, Krishna, in different times and places, Krishna has an infinite number of qualities. So he can have a special relationship with each individual jiva. So he has unlimited names, Gagamuni says, unlimited qualities. And I know them, but others don't. But actually, Gaurakacharya, and no one can know all the names and qualities of Krishna. And then, but Srila Prabhupada in his purport, he says a few of the names of Krishna. He is called Bhakta Vatsal. He is called Giridhari. He is called Govinda. He is called Gopal. And he is called Krishna. And Krishna means, Prabhupada explains in the purport, he who ends all material existence for one who will chant his name. And Krishna also means all attractive. And then he explains that this boy, this is text 16, he will increase the bliss of the cowherd men and all the cowherd ladies of Vrindavan. Now this one I would like you to repeat after me. And then, even though there are more verses, I think I will end. But please repeat after me. Eshava Shreya Adasyad. Eshava Shreya Adasyad. Eshavashreya Adasvad. Esha means this boy, he's pointing to Krishna. This boy, for all of you people, and this is true for all people. This boy, Shreya means auspicious. This boy will act auspiciously for the benefit. Adasyad means for the benefit, or all auspiciously. He will act for the benefit and all auspiciousness of all you people. Gopa Gokula Nandana. Gopa Gokula Nandana. So for all the cowherd people of Vrindavan, he will act most auspiciously, all auspiciously, for all the benefit of them. And he will act as the Nandana, the son of all of them. And Krishna actually did this in Brahmava Mohana Leela. And he will give joy, Ananda, to all the cows and to all the cowherd men and all the cowherd ladies. And Nanda Maharaj, because the verse goes on, Anena Sarva Durgani. So this boy of yours will increase all bliss and all auspiciousness for all the Gopas and all for Nanda Maharaj and all the cowherd people. Complete auspiciousness he will give you. Complete benefit he will give you. And Anena Sarva Durgani, and all difficulties he will help you cross beyond them. Yunjamanjastarishyata. Yunjananjastarishyata. And he will help you all overcome all difficulties. This is our Krishna. He will bestow all auspiciousness, and he will help us overcome all difficulties. And he is so beautiful. Okay. This is the indication that class is over. When there's more than 50 mobile phones come out. Okay, thank you very much. Sri Krishna Janmashtami ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sisi Gaunitai ki jai, Sisi Krishna Balarama ki jai, Sisi Radhashama Sundar Lalita Vishakhi Devi ki jai, Srila Prabhupada Bhaktivinoda ki jai.